Hey everyone, John Green here, and today we're diving into the fascinating world of teaching strategies. It's a topic near and dear to my heart, not just because I come from a family of educators, but because I believe everyone is a teacher in their own right. We're constantly learning and sharing knowledge whether we realize it or not. But when it comes to formal education, effective teaching strategies are absolutely crucial. Think about it. A teacher's approach can make or break a student's understanding of a subject. It can spark a lifelong love of learning, or, conversely, create unnecessary hurdles and frustration. So buckle up, grab your notebooks, and let's get started. Before we can even begin to talk about specific teaching strategies, we need to understand the different stages of learning. Why? Because just like you wouldn't teach algebra to a toddler, you wouldn't use the same approach for a student who's just been introduced to a concept versus one who's mastered the basics. Generally speaking, there are 4 stages of learning. Unconscious incompetence. This is the I don't know what I don't know stage. Conscious incompetence. Now you're aware of what you don't know. Conscious competence. You're starting to get the hang of it. You can ride the bike, but you still have to think about every movement. Unconscious competence. You're a pro. Riding the bike is second nature now. As educators, understanding these stages helps us tailor our teaching to meet students where they are. It allows us to provide the right level of support and scaffolding, gradually fading it away as the student progresses. This understanding is key to effective teaching. Now that we've covered the stages of learning, let's move on to the principles of teaching. These principles are like guiding stars, helping us navigate the complex world of education and make informed decisions about our teaching practices. One fundamental principle is student-centered learning. This means shifting the focus from the teacher as the sage on the stage to the student as an active participant in their own learning journey. Another crucial principle is active learning. We know that simply listening to a lecture isn't the most effective way to learn. Active learning involves engaging students in activities that require them to apply, analyze, evaluate, and create knowledge. Assessment for learning is another cornerstone of effective teaching. It's about using assessment not just as a way to measure learning, but as a tool to guide instruction and provide feedback that helps students grow. Finally, we can't forget the importance of creating a positive learning environment. It's about celebrating diversity, encouraging collaboration, and nurturing a love of learning in all students. Let's face it, not all students learn best by simply sitting at a desk, listening to a lecture and taking notes. Some students thrive when they can engage multiple senses in the learning process. That's where multisensory approaches come in. One well-known example is the Montessori method, developed by Italian physician and educator Maria Montessori. This approach emphasizes hands-on learning, self-directed exploration, and a carefully prepared environment that encourages discovery and independence. Then there's the VAKT, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile method, which incorporates visual, auditory, kinesthetic, movement, and tactile touch elements into learning. For students with dyslexia or other language-based learning difficulties, the Orton Gillingham method offers a structured, multisensory approach to reading and spelling instruction. Finally, we have Augmentative and Alternative Communication, AAC, which encompasses a wide range of strategies and tools used to supplement or replace spoken or written communication. Section 5. A toolkit for educators. Exploring various teaching strategies. Beyond multisensory approaches, there's a whole world of teaching strategies out there, each with its own strengths and applications. Think of it like a toolkit. A skilled educator knows which tools to use for different situations and how to combine them effectively to achieve the best learning outcomes for their students. Some strategies focus on breaking down complex skills into smaller, more manageable steps. Task analysis, for example, involves identifying the individual steps involved in a task, sequencing them logically, and then teaching them explicitly. This is particularly helpful for students who struggle with multi-step instructions or complex tasks. Chaining is another strategy that builds on the idea of breaking down skills. It involves teaching a sequence of behaviors one step at a time, gradually linking them together until the student can perform the entire chain independently. Other strategies focus on shaping behavior and reinforcing desired responses. Shaping involves reinforcing successive approximations of a target behavior, gradually moving closer to the desired outcome. Modeling is exactly what it sounds like. demonstrating the desired behavior for the student to imitate. Prompting involves providing cues or assistance to help the student perform the desired behavior. Fading is the process of gradually reducing the amount of support provided to the student as they master a skill. Reinforcement is anything that increases the likelihood of a behavior occurring again in the future. It can be positive, like adding something desirable such as praise or a sticker, or negative, like removing something undesirable such as a homework pass or a break from a non-preferred activity. Section 6. Task analysis and chaining, breaking down complex skills. Let's take a closer look at two strategies we touched on earlier: task analysis and chaining. These powerful tools help educators break down complex skills into smaller, more manageable steps, making learning less daunting and more achievable for students. Imagine you're teaching a student with intellectual disabilities how to make a sandwich. It seems like a simple task, right? But if you break it down, there are actually multiple steps involved: gathering the ingredients, spreading the condiments, placing the fillings, and assembling the sandwich. That's where task analysis comes in. By carefully identifying each step, you can create a clear roadmap for the student to follow. Once you've identified the steps, chaining comes into play. You start by teaching the first step, perhaps using modeling or prompting to guide the student. Once they've mastered that step, you move on to the next, gradually linking each step together until the student can independently make the entire sandwich. Section 7. Shaping, modeling, prompting, fading, and reinforcement. Tools for skill development. Now let's dive into a set of strategies that focus on shaping behavior and reinforcing desired responses. Shaping, modeling, prompting, fading, and reinforcement. These tools are incredibly effective for teaching new skills, modifying existing behaviors, and promoting independence in students. Think of shaping as sculpting a piece of clay. You start with a general idea of what you want to create and gradually mold the clay, reinforcing each small change that brings you closer to the desired form. Similarly, in shaping behavior, you reinforce successive approximations of a target behavior, gradually moving closer to the desired outcome. Modeling provides a visual blueprint for students to follow. By demonstrating the desired behavior, you give them a clear understanding of what's expected. Prompting acts as a gentle nudge in the right direction. You provide cues or assistance to help the student perform the desired behavior, gradually fading these prompts as they become more independent. Fading is like removing the training wheels from a bike. As the student gains mastery, you gradually reduce the amount of support provided, allowing them to experience independence and build confidence in their abilities. Reinforcement is the fuel that keeps the learning engine running. Section 8. Role play and play. Way method, learning through experience. Let's face it, sometimes the best way to learn is by doing. That's where role play and the playway method come in, offering engaging and interactive ways for students to explore concepts, develop skills, and make learning meaningful. Role play, as the name suggests, involves assuming different roles and acting out scenarios. This can be incredibly powerful for teaching social skills, problem-solving, empathy, and communication. Imagine using role play to teach students about conflict resolution. They could take on the roles of two friends who are having a disagreement and practice different ways to communicate their feelings, listen to each other's perspectives, and find a compromise. The playway method takes this experiential learning to the next level. Through play, children explore their world, experiment with different roles, and develop cognitive, social, emotional, and physical skills. Section 9. Teaching and Learning Materials, TLM, supporting students with intellectual disabilities. Now let's talk about teaching and learning materials, TLM, and how they can be adapted to support students with intellectual disabilities. TLM encompasses a wide range of resources, from traditional textbooks and worksheets to more hands-on materials like manipulatives, games, and technology. For students with intellectual disabilities, it's crucial to choose TLM that is accessible, engaging, and tailored to their individual learning needs and goals. This might involve simplifying language, using visuals, breaking down tasks, providing concrete examples, making it hands-on, and using technology. For example, if you're teaching a student with intellectual disabilities about money, you might use real coins and bills, create a pretend store, or use a money counting app. By providing multiple avenues for learning, you can help students grasp concepts more effectively. This approach builds their confidence and supports their unique learning journey.